What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Lil Mackie Rob, aka Mito, and hope you're doing good today, man. I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice, beautiful Saturday afternoon. So I hope y'all woke up today and we're blessed and thank the Lord to wake up another day and all that good stuff. And yeah. So, like I said, my name is Lil Mackie Rob. If you don't know who I am, I make reaction content where I just kind of like react to videos and talk my shit and whatever. They usually range from like video games or music or whatever I just find interesting at the moment. And today's gonna be no different. So with today, I've seen this channel specifically kind of around YouTube a lot. As you can see by the name, it goes by Endymyon. This channel is or at least this guy is a very like how would I describe him? I don't know. He's like a part of that anti-woke crowd, whatever, kind of shit. That's kind of like what his channel's kind of mainly about. I'll even click, like, most of his videos just are about, well, recently they have just all been about like going after fucking Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, and he's made a lot of videos talking about it. You see, he's got literally just 3 hours ago, Ubisoft Insider exposes Assassin's Creed's future. And then you got Assassin's Creed Shadows Defender Attack Me, which is the video we're going to watch. And then we got Assassin's Creed Spits on Japan's History. Assassin's Creed Shadows in Full Damage Control. Assassin's Creed Shadows is Nuclear Woke Disaster. Like, you get the point. Like, and it's not just like, it's a lot of videos, dude, that are like this. Oh my god, dude. So many Assassin's Creed videos. Yeah, he is against the Avowed game too. He claims that it's a woke piece of garbage. Like, you get the idea. He's very anti-woke shit. So, I want to react to one of his videos. And I see today, or was it today? Or 3 days ago, sorry. He made a video saying, Assassin's Creed Shadows Defenders attack me. And I respond. And I just kind of wanted to react to it and give my opinion on it and see what's going on here with Mr. Endymyon. So if you like this kind of content, stick around. Consider leaving me a like and subscribe. And as always, I'm going to put the original video in the description below so y'all can come back over here and check it out for yourself. Excuse me. And without further ado, let's get right into it, man. Assassin's Creed Shadows Defenders attack me. And I respond. I want to see, what are these attacks? What's going on?
A YouTuber has decided to call people out that he believes are grifters, not realizing that he has been swindled by actual grifters into accepting their ideology and refusing to believe that he's been...
I just want to say this first, too. I'm so tired of people taking words and just not understanding what they mean. It's been done twice. Not twice, but it's been done many times. But I get annoyed when I hear people talk about grifting or grifters, and then hear people say woke shit and like, oh, this is woke, that's woke. Those are like two of like the biggest words that have just been like largely misinterpreted, I think, by people nowadays, because people forget grifting and being a grifter it means like, that you pretend like you believe in something but you really don't, type shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're pretending to have a certain belief system that you don't actually believe. That's what grifting is. And I just want to put that out there. I don't think I hate how many people fucking call each other grifters, because it's not grifting. Like, if you believe the shit that you're saying, it's not grifting. You're just on the other side. That's just what you believe. And it's the same shit with woke shit. I hate the idea. I hate the new definition of woke. It's so stupid. People call like anything with a pride flag or anything that has like any show or movie or video games that has minorities, like black people or women as like leads and shit, they call it woke. And people forget that is not what woke means. Woke is like, woke means like your third eye is open to some shit. You know what I mean? Like it means like you're woke. Like, you're not asleep. You're not a sheep. You see the Matrix for what it is. That's what woke is. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I feel like people just throw around these two words way too often without really understanding what they mean. So just wanted to put that out there.
Successfully brainwashed himself. First of all, do not harass anyone in this video. This is solely focused on one YouTuber who clearly has no idea what he's talking about, as you'll see how he glosses over so many points that it gets to the point of actual parody. This then brings me to the person in question, Fighting Cowboy, a YouTuber who makes gaming content. I've never interacted with him on social media or anything like that in the past.
Probably guided you
I
through
was
Elden
aware
Ring.
of him, existing, but I always figured he was just some guy that makes content on Souls-like games. Which, hey, that's cool. Good for you. Do what you love on YouTube. But he decided to have a live stream recently where you can visibly hear his voice trembling. Like he's afraid for most of it, trying to say that grifters, as he puts it, are the reason why gaming sucks now, while completely disregarding everything surrounding every topic he brings up, which proves that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about at all. I'll have to cut out his swears as he speaks in his stream because this guy likes to cuss a lot, and I am not really someone who does that sort of thing, so if his voice cuts out randomly at times, I apologize. It's just that, again, he's swearing like crazy here, so just so you know. But I was first brought to the attention of this by a PC Gamer article titled Assassin's Creed Shadow Streamer Goes Viral After Confronting Whining Commenters. Normal people don't get upset about this SHIT.
Okay, so let me see. Assassin's Creed Shadow Streamer Goes Viral After Confronting Whining Commenters. Normal people don't get upset about this shit. When things started to go sideways in Assassin's Creed Shadow stream, Fighting Cowboy dropped the hammer in a hurry and then took time to explain why. It's not a very descriptive description of what happened. Just what happened. I want to see.
So there's two rants that he has. The first one is shorter, but to summarize that one quicker, he basically tells his viewers that if you don't like Yasuke being in shadows, that you're not welcome to watch things on his channel, which is fair enough. That's his YouTube channel. Do what you want to do, but I'm going to react to his much longer reaction here. So let's start with what Fighting Cowboy has to say.
Things have been pretty spicy since the Assassin's Creed stream, and your typical, well, first and foremost, let me say there's been a huge amount of support and people in agreement, and really appreciate that. It's nice to know I'm not the only one who is tired of all this bull. But then, you know, your typical grifters went and picked the story up, and now there's all sorts of dumb made-up bull floating around, so I figured, let's do a stream, let's discuss, but regardless, let's talk about what happened. Now, for those that were not here the other day, we were playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
So as he starts, you can see that Cowboy calls anyone who disagrees with him as a grifter who brings up made-up BS about the games they talk about, which is already showing that we're off to a...
I mean, I don't think that's what he said. Hold on, let me go back. Because maybe I missed it. Sometimes I like drift off and I don't pay attention fully. Hold on, because I don't think that's what he said.
Your typical, well, first and foremost, let me say there's been a huge amount of support, and your typical, well, first and foremost, let me say there's been a huge amount of support and people in agreement, and really appreciate that. It's nice to know I'm not the only one who is tired of all this bull. But then, you know, your typical grifters went and picked the story up, and now there's all sorts of dumb made-up bull floating around, so I figured, let's do a stream, let's discuss, but regardless, let's talk about what happened. Now, for those that were not here the other day, we were playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
So as he starts, you can see that Cowboy calls anyone who disagrees with him as a grifter who brings up made-up BS about the games they talk about, which is already...
Yeah, I'm just gonna flat out say immediately that's not what he said. That's just not what he said. He just said that, you know, he had a stream, and because they were playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, that a lot of people came. He did call them grifters, yes, but he didn't say they're grifters because they don't agree with me. He just said there's a lot of people that are just coming in, starting a whole bunch of bullshit. So let's talk about it. He didn't call anybody who disagrees with him a grifter, so I already don't like that we're starting off very heavy like that. But okay, let's keep going.
Showing that we're off to a bad start with a guy who clearly has no idea what's going on. So let's focus on Shadows for now here, but even in my previous video, I talk about how Yasuke was responsible for killing Momochi Sandayu. That's the leader of the Iga Shinobi, despite Yasuke only being a samurai for 6 months at this point. By the way, Momochi Sandayu and the Iga Shinobi, those are real things that actually existed. Anyway, I made the comparison.
Dude, come on. Are we really starting off like this? Are we really? Bro. I really hate to beat a dead horse. So like, are we mad that Ezio like beat the shit beat the shit out of the fucking Pope under the Vatican in AC2? Are we mad about that too? The Pope is a real person. I hate to do this, bro, but like every Assassin's Creed game has you fucking killing people that existed at some point in real life. And I know the Pope is like the main thing, but here, let's do this. Okay. Let's do this. I don't remember exactly how many. Let me see. Let's look up. Let's ask Chat GPT for some help here, okay? Let's ask Chat GPT for some help. let's try ChatGPT, please. Just give me the online version. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here. Actually, we'll do something that should hit home for both of us, right? We'll do Assassin's Creed 3. Who did Connor Kenway assassinate in Assassin's Creed 3? Thanks for trying ChatGPT. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, okay. So here's an entire list of real life people that Connor Kenway killed that were a part of American history that nobody gives a fuck about, right? I'm not saying nobody gives a fuck about American history. I'm saying that nobody gives a fuck that they were killed in this video game, right? In Assassin's Creed 3, Connor Kenway, also known as, I will never be able to say his name properly, assassinates several key figures throughout the game. Some of the most notable assassinations include Charles Lee, which was a very prominent and very famous, I believe, general of the Confederacy. I'm pretty sure. Did I say Confederacy? Not the Confederacy. The fucking Jesus Christ! I confused the fucking Civil War with the Revolution. But he played it. But he was a very important figure in the American Revolution. In the history. I'm sorry. I sound like a fucking idiot already. But no, that's not what I meant. But Charles Lee, a key antagonist throughout the game. Charles Lee is a Templar who plays a significant role in the conflict between assassins and Templars. Connor kills him in a final confrontation after Lee's betrayal and involvement in many of the game's key events. So I don't think I need to really look this up, but I don't think Charles Lee was a Templar, okay? Charles Lee, right? Let's look him up. Let's see, who was he? Charles Lee was a British-born American military general. Okay, what is he most known for? Lee was widely respected in the colonies for his military reputation, and his military advice and direction were sought after in a number of locations in the first years of conflict. He served on the siege lines outside of Boston and aided the development of Newport, Rhode Island. Okay, he got killed in AC3. Nobody gives a fuck, right? Because we understand it's a video game and it's not real, even though Charles Lee is clearly a real person in American history, okay? We have William Johnson, a Templar leader who Connor kills for his role in the Templar Order's schemes and his actions against the assassins. All right? Was William Johnson... I'm fucking pissed off. I actually have to look this shit up, dude. William Johnson. Look at that. What was William Johnson famous for? Oops. Where is it? Where's my William Johnson tab? There we go. So here we go. Sir William Johnson, 1st Baronet, British Army officer. Major General Sir William Johnson, 1st Baronet, was a British Army officer and colonial administrator from Ireland, known for his military and governance work in the British colonial America. Okay, another real person in history. Like I can look at Benjamin Church and John Pickard and anybody else that was that Connor killed in AC3, but you get my point. The idea that we're sitting here and going to be pissed off at fucking what do you call it? At fucking Assassin's Creed Shadows for killing real life Japanese people that were part of Japanese history, when this has been a thing, a theme for literally every single Assassin's Creed game that has ever come out, from 1 to Shadows. It's just ridiculous. He's criticizing this game for doing something that every game does. Like, every game takes real historical figures and ends up turning them into Templars. And you would kind of know that if you played the Assassin's Creed games on the regular. But seeing as I don't really believe he really did, outside of maybe the first 3, which even then the first 3 still disprove his complaint here. This is a stupid critique. Every Assassin's Creed game does this, dude. This is we're just cherry picking bullshit right now, dude. All right, but let's continue.
For killing Momochi Sandayu. That's the leader of the Iga Shinobi, despite Yasuke only being a samurai for 6 months at this point. By the way, Momochi Sandayu and the Iga Shinobi, those are real things that actually existed. Anyway, I made the comparison that Yasuke being able to kill Momochi Sandayu in combat would be like a random guy being given a sword and trained for like 6 months, and suddenly being able to kill Ezio in combat. It's ridiculous, but this is...
Okay, first of all, Ezio is not a real... Like, Ezio's not a real person, okay? Let's just... If we're gonna make this complaint that it doesn't make sense for Yasuke to be able to kill this fucking Japanese, what is he, a general or something, this Japanese warrior, because that would be equivalent to him only training for 6 months and then being able to kill Ezio. It doesn't make any sense. You can't compare Yasuke's skills to a character who, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't, what am I even trying to do? I'm like trying to argue like this is like an anime debate. This doesn't even matter. This is an unfair comparison. You can't do this. Ezio's not real. Ezio's not real. I can make the same complaint about Connor, dude. You want me to believe that Connor Kenway, after like training to be an assassin for like a year, is now able to single-handedly win the American Revolution for America? This is stupid, bro. Like, it's a video game. This is a fucking video game, bro. This is just unfair criticism. What you're about to hear is completely unfair criticism that doesn't make any sense, because every other Assassin's Creed game in this franchise does exactly what he's about to complain about. He's only mad right now because it's Yasuke being the one to do it. But I promise you, if it was just a normal Japanese man, he wouldn't bitch about this. It's just because it's Yasuke. Let's go.
What Shadows is kind of like all the time while you're playing it. Fighting Cowboy then says this.
Let's make it we can make it an open invitation for anyone that actually wants to try and stand on business instead of making up little bull to help get their viewers angry.
Okay, so we're making up things apparently to make people angry. That's interesting. Again, I didn't make up that Sendayu being killed by Yasuke. That is literally in the game. Unless I forgot that I somehow worked on this game for years, wrote and animated these sequences myself, then maybe I could be making it up. But when it comes to literally...
I don't, that's okay. So we're just twisting, we're just immediately twisting words. I don't think him saying, let me go back a little bit.
Killed by Yasuke. That is
try and stand on business instead of making
all the time while you're playing it. Fighting Cowboy then says this.
Let's make it we can make it an open invitation for anyone that actually wants to try and stand on business instead of making up little bull to help get their viewers angry.
Okay, so we're making up things apparently to make people angry. That's interesting. Again, I didn't make up that Sendayu being killed by Yasuke. That is...
Yeah, okay, and again, okay, so yeah, I am right. Okay, so he's completely twisting words and misinterpreting on purpose what he said by saying, let's send out an invitation for anybody who wants to come up here and stand on business, instead of just saying one-liners and making up things to get mad about, to get their audience riled up. I just showed you that's exactly what he's doing. He's not saying you're making up the fact that Yasuke killed this guy. He's saying you're making up the fact that Yasuke killing this guy is a bad thing and it's wrong, and this is like you're talking like this is the only game that's ever done some shit like this, when that's just not true. It's just flat out not true. From Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2, from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 3, you're killing important people that were actually real life people at one point in history, and you're assassinating them. That happens in every Assassin's Creed game. You're getting upset for the game doing what the game has always allowed you to do and has always done. That's the part you're making up. You're making up anger for something that's a normal thing in this game. That's the made up part, and it doesn't make any sense. I would like to see him elaborate on why Yasuke killing this guy is such a bad thing. I want him to elaborate on it, beyond just the fact that it's Yasuke and he's only a samurai for 6 months and da 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 da. Besides that, like, what is actually objectively wrong with Yasuke assassinating this guy in the story? What is wrong with it? But he won't elaborate on it, and he probably still won't elaborate on why he thinks this is wrong. He's just gonna say, "This guy said this guy thinks I'm just making up the fact that this event happened in the game." That's clearly not what he's saying. But let's keep going.
Literally in the game. Unless I forgot that I somehow worked on this game for years, wrote and animated these sequences myself, then maybe I could be making it up. But when it comes to literally anything from Shadows, Veilguard, and more, if you see my content, I always bring examples, proof, and actual gameplay footage of the games that I talk about. Usually from games that I do buy and play myself, so I can report on them.
Yeah, dude, nobody is questioning whether or not these things happen in the video game. I think we know they happen in the video game. We're questioning why you're mad at it, because it just doesn't make any sense. Every Assassin's Creed game does this with historical figures. Most historical figures, they make them out to be evil Templars that you have to stop. Like that, like this. What are we talking about? What are we getting mad for? That is what they're questioning. Not if this thing actually happened in the video game.
view of someone who's actually experienced these games. So again, Cowboy is just making up things to justify his own hubris, but it keeps getting worse. He then says this about Yasuke.
And at the part of the stream we were at, Yasuke was on screen. Now, for those that don't know, Yasuke is a historical figure in Japanese history. He was brought over by the Portuguese and then taken by Nobunaga. Now, there's obviously a lot of iffy records about what happened back then. Some people say he was a retainer. Some people say he was raised up to a samurai. Regardless, I'm not here to talk about that, okay? That's beyond the point.
Wow, okay, so Yasuke was historically correct to be a legendary samurai, Cowboy states here. Oh boy, let's get into it. So this guy is so out of his depth, it's incredible that this stream is still up, and I'm not kidding. Somebody please tell Cowboy that the Yasuke story that he's white knighting for is based on Thomas Lockley's supposed historical documents. So that everyone knows for context here, Yasuke's historical evidence is solely from the works of Thomas Lockley, who is a professor. Every single thing that says that Yasuke was some sort of legendary samurai, it derives from this guy's work. So, was it true? Well, let me tell you. In July 2024, Japanese users and historians challenged Thomas Lockley's claims that Yasuke was an actual black samurai. The Japanese users then dug deeper and discovered some very crazy proof. Let's look at it here, where it turns out that Thomas Lockley was actually working under a username called Tom Totori. And when people discovered that Thomas Lockley by accident posted on his Tom Totori account but acted as if he was still on his public Thomas Lockley account, users then quickly cross-referenced the two accounts and discovered that this Tom Totori, who is actually Lockley, was actually purposely going to the Wikipedia page of Yasuke himself and adding entire falsified historical documents and events that claim that Yasuke was actually a part of events when he actually wasn't, as you're seeing on screen. This is what Thomas Lockley put on Wikipedia. So, when Lockley got exposed, that was last year, he then turned tail and ended up deleting all of his social...
Okay, so as we, so I decided while he was saying all that to just ask ChatGPT, does Japan acknowledge Yasuke as a samurai? All right. And before y'all try to critique me about using ChatGPT, okay, first of all, ChatGPT is a tool for you to do research. I don't want to sit here and have to fucking dig through hundreds of articles to get to a point. I just, it's much easier to just send ChatGPT to just quickly do some research and just kind of just garner some information that it can scour through the internet, because this thing can surf the internet a lot faster than a human can. So anyways, all I asked ChatGPT was, does Japan acknowledge Yasuke as a samurai? And ChatGPT came back and said, yes, Japan does acknowledge Yasuke as a samurai, though there is some debate about the specifics of his status within the samurai class. Yasuke was an African man who arrived in Japan in the late 16th century, possibly as a servant or slave, to the Jesuit missionary Alessandro Vallegiano. I don't know how you say that. He gained prominence when he was introduced to Oda Nobunaga, a powerful daimyo, feudal lord, and eventually became a samurai. Nobunaga is said to have been impressed by Yasuke's strength and presence, leading him to grant him the status of samurai, a rare honor for a foreigner at the time. So, anyways, it says, the exact details of Yasuke's life in Japan are not entirely clear, but historical records suggest that he was treated with a certain level of respect and even entrusted with significant responsibilities, including fighting in battles. He was given the title of samurai, and it's believed that he may have been given a small fief or some form of land. Okay. So it says, however, since Yasuke's time as samurai is not extensively documented, and given the racial and cultural context of the era, some historians argue that his status might not have been the same as that of other samurai, but in modern Japan, Yasuke is generally acknowledged as one of the few foreign individuals who achieved the rank of samurai, and his story is celebrated as a fascinating part of Japanese history. His legacy has grown over time, particularly in pop culture, where he's often depicted as a symbol of cultural exchange and diversity. So, in other words, everything Endymion just complained about is wrong, Japan acknowledges Yasuke as a samurai. Is there debate on... So, it seems, according to ChatGPT, right, Japan acknowledges Yasuke as a samurai. Now, where he falls into the hierarchy of samurai, I'm assuming by how much respect he gets from other samurai, is probably debated. Maybe it seems like they mainly debate on if he's a low-ranking samurai versus a high, whatever. But the idea that Endymion's sitting here and is saying there's no records of Yasuke ever being a samurai, nobody in Japan acknowledges Yasuke as a samurai, it's just false, And this is the thing that I hear a lot. They every time they bring up this argument, they always talk about Thomas Lockley. When I hate that instead of just doing the research and going to Japanese historians or even asking ChatGPT to quickly look it up for you to see, are there any historians who do acknowledge it? You can clearly see that, yes, they do. They do. They just debate whether or not he was a high ranking or low ranking, but they do acknowledge him as a samurai. And they even celebrate him as a symbol of diversity and cultural exchange. So, like, I don't know. Again, these are the things that I think this, what's his name? The Viking guy, what's his name? Whatever, the guy he's complaining about. These are the things that he's questioning these people on. And when he says, can you people come up and like actually back the stuff you say, instead of just saying one-liners to make up reasons to be mad. These are the reasons that he's talking about. These are the reasons he believes, or these are the things he thinks are being made up. And I believe it too. You're just, at this point, we're just making things up to be mad about, dude. Like, this is ridiculous, bro.
Social media accounts and closing everything down, because he very obviously got found out that he and his Tom Totori account were simply swindling people and publishers like Ubisoft into believing that Yasuke truly did exist and was a real samurai when he wasn't. Why would Lockley do this? Well, Cowboy won't tell you because he doesn't know anything about what he's talking about except trembling his voice while trying to find the words to speak. It actually turns out that Thomas Lockley, like I said, sold a book that he wrote himself that he pushed as historically accurate, and it's titled Yasuke, the True Story of the Legendary African Samurai. True story, huh? Well, we know that isn't true at all. And by the way, if you want to buy the book, it's listed at $170.
Yeah, I mean, are we surprised, dude? Dude, there's so many fucking movies and like books and shit that say this is based on a true story that clearly aren't. Like, are you going to tell me you believe the Blair Witch Project was a real thing? And you do realize in the beginning of the movie, they say this is a true story that's happened, and these are the recovered tapes. But it's 100% not a real movie. So, I mean, like, come on. You know, like, come on, dude. Like, we're cherry picking bullshit to be mad about.
Dollars Canadian, if you can believe it. That's like, I don't know, 140, 150 American or so. So it's very obvious that the reason why Lockley was pushing this clearly false story as fact was to make himself a fortune off pushing a diverse samurai in a setting that he wasn't in. Thomas Lockley even admitted in his own words that were collected here that he first heard of Yasuke as a concept in 2009. Here's what it reads. I first met Yasuke in 2009 when I was looking at the Wikipedia page of Miori Shohari, a British diplomatic advisor who served Tokugawa Ieyasu, and found him in the See Also section. I was surprised. Well, there was such a person. This dude found out about Yasuke through Wikipedia. I'm not kidding. And then Lockley then took this barely one paragraph worth of information that only stated, based on Japanese scholars, that Yasuke came to Japan, he was bought by Oda Nobunaga. Then when Oda died 6 months later, Akechi Mitsuhide, his general, told his soldiers to return Yasuke to his Jesuit owners, and then they were all forced to leave Japan forever. Also remember that around this time when Shadows takes place and when Yasuke briefly existed within its history was around the 1600s. The very beginning of that century, actually. This was the exact time when Japan as a country unanimously decided to close their borders to any further foreigners to enter their lands. So Yasuke literally got to Japan, met a rich guy, danced for him, and held his tools. He then died, Oda that is, and then Yasuke got kicked out. That's literally his legacy. That's all he did in history.
I don't think it says that he was kicked out. I think they just closed the borders. But here, I even asked ChatGPT. Oh, look at this. I even asked ChatGPT this. I asked ChatGPT which records suggest that Yasuke was a samurai. The historical records that suggest Yasuke was a samurai are limited, but there are a few key sources that offer insights into his status in Japan. The Jesuit reports. The primary sources come from the Jesuit missionaries who were in Japan during the late 16th century. They wrote about Yasuke's arrival in Japan and has him serving under Oda Nobunaga. These reports describe Yasuke as an impressive man and mention that he was presented to Nobunaga, who was fascinated by him. In some of these records, it is implied that Yasuke was treated with respect and he was eventually granted samurai status by Nobunaga. The Nobunaga Chronicle. This is a historical account of Oda Nobunaga's life and actions, and while it doesn't provide extensive detail about Yasuke's background, it does reference Yasuke as one of Nobunaga's retainers. So this is the stuff that they were talking about. This is the stuff that he was mentioning about, oh, some people think he was just a retainer. So I'm assuming he's talking about this. The Chronicles mentions Yasuke's strength and stature, which likely contributed to Nobunaga's decision to elevate him to the status of samurai. The Portuguese reports, the Portuguese traders and missionaries also provided accounts of Yasuke's time in Japan. According to these reports, Nobunaga was so impressed by Yasuke's height and demeanor that he had him bathed and clothed in the traditional garments of a samurai, further signaling his elevated status. While these reports don't directly confirm his title, they strongly imply that Yasuke was granted samurai status. The history of the samurai. Modern historians and scholars also consider Yasuke's role within the samurai class based on the available records. While not a contemporary source, modern studies suggest that Yasuke's position with Nobunaga, within Nobunaga's retinue, and the fact that he was involved in significant events including battles aligns with the privileges and duties of a samurai. So while none of the records do full out confirm whether he was an actual samurai, they do, multiple historical records suggest the idea that Nobunaga made him a samurai. So I mean, come on, dude. Like, seriously. Just come on, guys. Like, we're just making shit up to be mad about, dude. Like, we gotta call a spade, bro. They're mad that he's black. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, there's no other reason, man. There's no other reason. Literally, any little bit of research, any little bit of looking up either on ChatGPT or maybe going on Google if that's your thing and doing it yourself, you would see that, sure, while they don't outright say that he is one, they also don't outright say that he's not one, and they also make heavy implications that he was considered a samurai. So, like, this is just bullshit, dude. Like, these people just have nothing else to be upset about. These people just, like, if we're gonna criticize a video game, let's criticize the game itself. You know what I mean? Like, let's criticize, like, the actual bullshit in the game, not just Yasuke, you know, and because he's a black man in Africa. Because you can't tell me that's not his biggest issue, bro. Like, he just brought up the fact that, what do you say? And, like, oh, in the 1600s, they closed all borders, and oh, that means Yasuke got kicked out. I don't think that, it doesn't even sound like that even happened, bro. It just sounds like Japan closed their borders, bro. Like, I don't know. Everything this dude Endymion brings up just sounds like just bullshit to, like, cry about, dude. Because literally everything I'm looking up from ChatGPT suggests otherwise. That no, like, he was considered a samurai. He was implied to be a samurai. It's, you know, like, I don't know. This is crazy.
And a rich guy danced for him and held his tools. He then died. I mean, Oda, that is. And then Yasuke got kicked out. That's literally.
And he danced for him and held his tools, and then he got kicked out. That is quite different from what we just saw of multiple historical records implying that he was a samurai because of his involvement in battles. So I think Yasuke was doing a lot more than just dancing and holding weapons for Nobunaga. And considering that multiple of these historical records also talk about the fact that Nobunaga was impressed with Yasuke's size, this isn't Yasuke, but impressed with Yasuke's size and his demeanor, shows that Nobunaga probably looked at him and was like, damn, where the fuck they make you at? You massive, you know, and probably was impressed with his physical stature and would most likely make him a warrior if he was that impressed with his physical look. Like, I don't think Nobunaga looked at him and was like, wow, you're fucking ripped. You want to just dance for me? That just sounds stupid, bro.
Literally his legacy. That's all he did in history that is recorded. Cowboy, of course, knows none of this and instead just believes what he's told by Access Media because he is not someone who clearly does any research when it comes to anything like this.
Yasuke is a historical figure in Japanese history.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product.
Now, there's obviously a lot of iffy records about what happened back then.
And then get excited for next.
And again, in his defense, he's not a news.
Why is he just, bro? He just flashed this shit so fast. What
product?
Now, there's obviously a lot of iffy records about what happened back then.
And then get
What is this? Tommy Totori related. The birth and spread of African samurai Yasuke, a usual contribution to Wikipedia. Oh, just them editing it. Dog, like, bro, they do this on Wikipedia all the time. Why the fuck? You're gonna complain. You're gonna complain about how people don't do research, and then you're gonna sit here and say, look, guys, it's not true. Look at what they're doing to his Wikipedia. Didn't we learn in school Wikipedia is arguably one of the, like, worst things to use as far as research goes? I don't really agree. I think Wikipedia is a good source of research, honestly. But yeah, you have to acknowledge sometimes they do. Yeah, sometimes things get edited for sure. But come on, like, we're gonna talk about how people don't do research, and your whole reference as to why you believe Yasuke could never be a samurai and was not a samurai is because his Wikipedia got edited a bunch of times. Like, this is fucking stupid.
Excited for next.
And again, in his defense, he's not a news per se YouTuber. This guy just plays video games and reviews them, which is fair enough. And look, despite this video, I don't hate Cowboy, but I do want to make the point that if he's going to try to dissuade other YouTubers from speaking up against cultural and historical revisionism, then he needs to be able to back up his claims, which he doesn't, and continues to not do, as you'll keep seeing in this video, as it just keeps getting worse, dude. So too long didn't read version. Yasuke was never a samurai. He never fought in any battles, and Shadows is completely.
He never fought in any battles. Really, that never happened. That never happened. It's just, oh my gosh, I hate this computer sometimes. So that never happened, right? Just not at all. This is historical account. Reddit mentioned his battles right here, right? What is it? Oh, the history of the samurai. Right here. Yasuke's position within Nobunaga's retinue, and the fact that I don't know how you say that word, and the fact that he was involved in significant events, including battles, aligns with privileges and duties as a samurai. And I think not just that. I think when I just asked them, do they acknowledge his status as a samurai, they say they do. Yeah, they do. So he was involved in battles. That's clearly just a fact. Well, actually, we'll do one extra. We'll see if ChatGPT can find this. What battles was Yasuke a part of? Yasuke is believed to have participated in several key events during his time in Japan. The Battle of Tenmuzukian in 1575. Yasuke's most notable involvement in a battle was likely during the Battle of Tenzminyu. I don't know how you say that. This battle was a critical conflict between Oba Nobunaga and the Takeda clan. The Takeda clan, led by Takeda Shingen, were one of the most powerful clans in Japan at the time. Yasuke is believed to have fought in this battle, where Nobunaga's forces, assisted by Tokugawa Ieyasu's troops, successfully defeated the Takeda forces. Dude, I am butchering these names. While Yasuke's direct actions during this battle are not documented in detail, it's known that he was a member of Nobunaga's inner circle, and it's likely he participated in the military campaign. The Siege of Mount Hai, another significant event which Yasuke likely participated, was the Siege of Mount Hiei. This was a brutal campaign led by Nobunaga to eliminate the powerful Iko-Iki, a group of Buddhist monks who opposed Nobunaga. Yasuke, serving as one of Nobunaga's samurai, may have been involved in this siege, which resulted in the destruction of Inraiku-Iji, whatever. Yasuke's role in this battle is not detailed, but as samurai, it is reasonable to assume that he was a part of the assault. So, again, because there's not too much documentation about Yasuke, nobody really knows whether or not he was involved or he wasn't involved. So, but multiple records, again, suggest the idea, since Nobunaga acknowledged Yasuke as a samurai, he was most likely involved in these battles, but we truly just don't know. So honestly, you know what that sounds like? We just can't make a definitive statement like, yes, he was a part of battles, or no, he wasn't a part of battles. We just have to simply say, we don't know. And that's the problem, I feel like, with people, bro. Like, what is wrong with just saying, I don't know? Like, if the Japanese don't even really know this dude's history too well, and they don't have too much documentation on him, who are we to sit here and say he was some shit or wasn't some shit? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But we have to go off the fact that there's many historical records that do indicate and imply that he was acknowledged as a samurai, and with that acknowledgement, we can likely assume he was probably involved in some battles, for sure. But to sit here and make a definitive statement like, no, he was not involved in any battles at all, he was just dancing for Nobunaga, it's just straight bullshit. It's just straight made up bullshit that has there's no proof of it. And you know how I know there's no proof of it? Because he's not doing what I'm doing, which is being like, hey guys, look, here's this piece of evidence that supports the fact that supports what I'm saying, that he's not a samurai. Or look guys, here's a fact. Here's a fact that I looked up to back up me saying that he wasn't involved in any battles. Look, there's this historical thing. Or look, ChatGPT tells me that he wasn't involved in anything. He's not showing any proof of it on screen. He's just info dumping and saying bullshit and then quickly skipping past it. That's how I know he's just making shit up. Because if you're not making shit up and you want to be objectively truthful and want to get down to the truth of things, you take the time, you do your research, and you show it on screen. All he's shown us is a deleted Facebook profile and a fucking history of edits made to a Wikipedia page. This is not proof of anything. It's nothing. It's literally a nothing burger. There's nothing in here.
Based on the falsified documents made by Thomas Lockley, a white man professor who profited by pushing a fake black samurai story.
This is the only thing he wants to reference. He's using Thomas Lockley's story he's using Thomas Lockley's story as fact more than anybody else's, because he keeps referencing it. Oh, these are just documents made by the book. Oh yeah, these are just documents made by the book. if we're not going to acknowledge Thomas Lockley and we're not going to say his shit, what he his book about Yasuke means anything, then we need to stop referencing the book and start just referencing actual fucking history and research by using the internet. But anyways,
just line his own pockets. And then once he got caught, he ran with his tail between his legs, deleted all of his social media, and then disappeared from the internet, and no one's heard from him since.
The only thing he's posting is just bullshit. He's just posting a book cover and a deleted Facebook profile. This doesn't back up your claims in any way. This is what is the point of showing these fucking screenshots? It doesn't make any sense.
But Cowboy will tell you with a straight face that this is all real, but I guess if you get enough idiots in a room repeating the same thing, they will eventually believe that it's true.
Yeah,
Cowboy then brings up fighting the Pope in AC2 and the flying machine as
stupid.
not being historically accurate.
Because Assassin's Creed has always been historical fiction. We never actually punched a Pope. We never actually fucking had.
Assassin's Creed Shadow's long dev time was to make it as authentic as possible. Yes, trying to. Oh my God, I heard this today too in one of my other videos. Somebody commented the same thing, where they were like, I seen on somebody's on somebody's or no, I remember what they said. They said, oh yeah, I saw on my timeline that one of the devs said that they were trying to make this the most historically accurate Assassin's Creed that they've ever made, and it's just not true. Ubisoft has come out and said themselves, it is not their goal to make any of their Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, it is not supposed to be a historical representation of history. And then this line of people, they constantly use this line of people being like, oh, well, they also said they try to make it as authentic as possible. Yes, you can. I think this is a part of the misinterpretation. They're saying we're trying to make it as authentic as possible, because the way I interpret this line is them saying we're trying to make this as authentic as possible while also balancing the creative freedom of trying to tell an Assassin's Creed story. So like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I interpret this line. But of course, with these kinds of people who literally only see things in black and white and don't understand the idea of nuance existing, which makes sense on why these people probably like the Punisher so damn much, because that nigga hates nuance. They hear things like them saying the long dev time was to make it as authentic as possible. They think that means historically accurate. It's not what that means. It means we're trying to make maybe, I don't know, the land of feudal Japan as authentic as possible. That's what I took it as. Because if there's one thing that the Assassin's Creed franchise does really well that you have to give them credit for, is they go out of their way to make the world almost one for one with the place they're trying to reference. I think that was the huge praise of Assassin's Creed Unity that it got, was people, especially in I think France or Paris or whatever, they were really impressed by the map, because they pretty much were like, the map for Assassin's Creed Unity is a pretty much a one for one with the real life Paris, you know, and you can say that's them making the game as authentic as possible, as far as that goes, as far as the map goes. That's how I think. That's what I interpret when I hear them saying the long dev time was to make this game as authentic as possible, was them trying to make what feudal Japan looked like in this time period. Like they try to make that as accurate as possible. So, but again, these are people who they're clearly just misinterpreting things on purpose to fit their narrative. That's just what it seems like to me, bro. This is just ridiculous.
Had flying machines. That shouldn't be an issue. In that moment, we were playing the game, and we weren't even playing yet. We were basically in like the opening cutscene, and we had people.
I like how also too, I'm sorry, I keep pausing it. I'm still trying to hear where this guy's voice is trembling out of fear. He sounds totally fine. Like, what are we talking about?
That were upset specifically about the existence.
The Prime Minister of Japan responded to a question about Assassin's Creed Shadows today. Here's what's actually going on. Tourism fears are at the heart of the debate. What is this? What does this have to do with anything?
Of a black guy in a Japanese setting. This had nothing to do with you.
That was the most useless title that was the most useless screenshot I've ever seen. What was the point of showing that?
We're basically in like the opening cutscene, and we had people that were upset specifically about the existence of a black guy in a Japanese setting. This had nothing to do with Ubisoft's microtransactions, had nothing to do with optimization, had nothing to do with the setting. It was simply black dude in a Japanese game. And then of course your typical grifters, they like to make up bullshit Japanese game.
Japanese, fucking Christ.
It
just
had
flashes
nothing to
shit
do
for like
with
a
the
second.
setting. It was simply
Just I hate that he does this shit. He'll flash screenshots for like a second. You don't get a chance to read them. Japanese fans are puzzled that Yasuke is in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Okay. Okay. What is this? Again, what does this have to do with anything? What is the point? Like, what is your point on showing these screenshots? I don't understand. Are you gonna elaborate a little bit?
black dude in a Japanese game. And then of course your typical grifters, they like to make up bullshit, you know, oh, woke leftist cowboy.
And I mean, I think that's I mean, what he said was they're upset that there's a black dude in this Assassin's Creed game. I mean, like, dude, is that not is that not what I'm supposed to interpret this title as? That the Japanese fans are puzzled that he's in the game because Yasuke is a black man? I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why these people are mad that about Assassin's Creed Shadows is because there's a black man in the game. So I mean, the screenshot kind of proves what he said after this, low key. But hey, bro, let's just keep going, dude. This is a crazy video.
Japanese game. And then of course your typical grifters, they like to make up bullshit, you know, oh, woke leftist cowboy is, I don't know, shilling for Ubisoft and blah blah blah, because none of them actually have a point to stand on.
First of all, fighting the Pope was cool as hell and would only be a problem if the final boss of AC2 was someone who didn't make sense within that world at that time. It actually
What the fuck, dude? Are you serious? So that's his argument for anybody who's using the Pope and fist fighting the Pope as proof of, hey, these games aren't historically accurate. His response and defense for Assassin's Creed doing that was, well, fighting the Pope is cool as hell. Dude, like, are we serious, bro? Like, no, you cannot do this shit. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot say Assassin's Creed Shadows is objectively a bad game because it has you doing things like assassinating historical figures or fighting historical figures that were once real life or that once actually existed in history, and in their words, changing history or rewriting history. You can't have that argument, and then when someone says, well, then what about you going to fist fight the fucking Pope underneath the Vatican, who's holding a staff given to him by the fucking Isu, who are basically alien fucking wizards? What about that? Are you not mad at that? And your response is, well, doing that's actually cool. Like, you can't be that inconsistent, bro. That's just a straight hypocrisy and inconsistency that Endymion just exposed himself for having. So we hear it loud and clear. That's their defense for anybody who ever brings up fighting the Pope in AC2 as proof of these games have never been historically accurate is, in Endymion's words, well, that's cool. Fucking dude, yeah, this video low key kind of makes me like the pirate guy, because what did he say before this? All these people are just mad and making shit up to be mad about, and his response is, yeah, well, fighting the Pope is cool. Like, but you're mad that Yasuke assassinated some Japanese guy that was important in Japanese history because he existed, and doing that is rewriting history. So apparently fist fighting the Pope and beating him, and then the Pope holding a fucking staff from Isu alien fucking wizard gods is not rewriting history. That's totally fine because it's cool. Like, oh my goodness. Okay.
Actually made a lot of sense that the Templar Order would have infiltrated the highest echelons of societal rule at the time.
The Templar Order's not real. Oh my god, bro. It's not real. That's the whole but that's your whole argument, is that it's rewriting history. And now your whole argument is, well, it's cool and it makes sense. It makes sense it makes sense story-wise. So which is it? Which is it? Is it cool or is it rewriting history? You cannot have it both ways. This doesn't make any sense.
Hence why the church got infected by Templar influence. As for the flying machines, they were sketches designed by Leonardo da Vinci at the time, and prototypes did exist. Now, did he actually fly them in real life? No, he didn't, but the existence of these contraptions in the game is explained because Leonardo admits that he studies the piece of Eden that he has and allows him to further understand such technologies. And
it's not real. This cannot actually be your defense. Is in AC2, I'm totally okay with Leonardo da Vinci creating fucking gliders that he never actually did in real life, and fighting the Pope is fine because in your mind it's cool. So he's basically saying everything that he just complained about for the last 11 minutes means absolutely nothing, because at least AC2 was cool. Because if it's cool enough, it's okay. But apparently if it's Yasuke, it's rewriting history. And how dare they? Come on, man.
You would know this, cowboy, if you play that game. The existence of these pieces of Eden have been in Assassin's Creed since the very beginning, and they've always, so to speak, warped the history of the games they were in to allow weird things to happen. Of course, in the Crusades, there was not an apple that could make duplicates or control men's minds as it is in the first game either. But while these games can have fun with their settings, at the very least, we can't admit that Leonardo did exist during the Italian Renaissance. He did have those sketches, he did have those prototypes, and he wasn't thrown out of Italy in 6 months like Yasuke was in Japan. There's a very big difference in bending history to allow for a gameplay mechanic versus completely rewriting the history of an entire nation.
That's literally what they had Leonardo da Vinci do, was bend history to fit a narrative by literally saying Leonardo da Vinci knew how to craft these fucking special assassin weapons and these gliders because he had the fucking piece of Eden to tell him to do it. That is... Oh, I'm getting frustrated because this is stupid. You just spent 12 minutes complaining about how you can't rewrite history in a game. That's fucked up. And then when people are bringing up how AC2 is incredibly historically inaccurate, your response is, yeah, well, but it's cool though. You're a hypocrite. You're being a fucking hypocrite. This is stupid. You have this is what he means when he says you can't stand on your shit. You're just making stuff up to be mad about, because you clearly are. You were okay with them literally, in your words, rewriting history in AC2 because it's cool to you, but when they have Yasuke, a black man, do it in Japan who has actual historical records implying that not only was he in Japan, but he was acknowledged as a samurai by Nobunaga, you're like, no, that's rewriting history. But yet there's no historical records of fucking, you know what? Let me see. Fucking Christ. Did Leonardo da Vinci have or create, what is it? What did he say? He had schematics to build a glider? Create schematics to build a glider. Even ChatGPT is like, what the fuck am I looking up? It's having a hard time finding this, dude. Even ChatGPT is like, I don't even know if this is a thing. Yo, I have never seen ChatGPT take so long. Okay, here we go. So, Leonardo da Vinci indeed did create schematics for a glider along with many other flying machines. He was fascinated by flight and spent a significant amount of time studying birds and mechanics of flight. His sketch and designs various flying machines, including gliders, are some of his most remarkable contributions and ideas of aviation. All right. Okay. So I'll back. You see how when I do some research and I say something wrong, I'm willing to show it on screen and back it up. Okay. So look. So I was wrong. He did create schematics to help aviation. He did not fully invent them, and it's the same as to say he did not fully invent them into existence, and they were never actually used. But okay, so he did create schematics for a glider at some point. But I also don't think Leonardo da Vinci worked with the fucking assassins in history. And I also don't think Leonardo da Vinci was creating weapons like a hidden blade or a fucking poison dart for the assassins. This, bro, so you were right. You literally, what he just did is the equivalent of throwing spaghetti at the wall and was like, hey, one noodle stuck, so I'm right. Like this is his one noodle he got to stick on the wall after throwing an entire pot of spaghetti at the wall. Like while none of Leonardo's flying machines were built during his lifetime and many of his ideas were never fully realized, his schematics were incredibly advanced for the time and have been recognized as precursors to modern aviation. But in AC2, he did fully create those gliders, and we were able to use those gliders fully functioning in the game. How is that not rewriting history to you, Endymion? How is that not rewriting history? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, but it does make sense, right? Because it's cool. Anyways.
People, and then insinuating that a foreign black man was the savior of the entire Japanese race. And if you can't correlate the difference between the two, well, you're more lost than I thought. He then brings up that we are all apparently weak-willed men.
They're all little, weak-willed men that like to hide behind avatars or made-up names, and they don't actually stand on business. They don't. They probably don't stand at all. I can't imagine most of these people are active. They probably don't go to the gym. They probably don't work out. They probably just sit inside all day and hide. But that's beyond the point. Okay, let's give the grifters a break for a second.
So we all stay inside. We don't work out, even though I do every second or third day. I do try my best. And if we want to be serious, this cowboy guy, he kind of looks like he just started working out based on how he looks. So I mean, good for him. So
I mean, guys, come on. I mean, this guy works out. This guy works out. I mean, I don't work out, but I'm also not here judging people based on their physical looks. You two brought it up, so I'm just saying that guy is sitting there with a muscle shirt on, and sure, he doesn't look like the most. He doesn't look the most defined in his figure. He looks like he does work out pretty well. You want me to believe you work out? Brother, your cheeks are chubbier than mine. Like, you don't work out, dude. Come on, dude. Come on. Oh,
they probably don't work out. They probably just sit inside all day and hide. But that's beyond the point, okay? Let's give the grifters a break for a second.
So we all stay inside. We don't work out, even though I do every second or third day. I do try my best. And if we want to be serious, this cowboy guy, he kind of looks...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep pausing up there, but I like how he says, well, so he says I don't work out, but I mean, every like second or third day, I try my best. So it's okay, so you don't work out. It's fine. Just say you don't work out, dude. I don't work out either. I'm a fat motherfucker, dude. I'm a slob. I have fucking my body looks like a melted ice cream cone on a fucking August day. Like, dude, fuck it. Who cares?
Looks like he just started working out based on how he looks. So I mean, good for him. So I have no idea why he's trying to act like he's some sort of alpha male. The dude clearly still likes to eat. And from one dude who likes to eat to another, don't try to act like you're some Adonis.
He looks pretty. He looks pretty fit, bro.
You likely stay inside just as much as your detractors do. This is such a dumb argument, man. What are you doing? And saying that we hide behind made-up names, dude. You go by Fighting Cowboy. I assume your parents didn't name you Fighting as in a first name. And if they did, that's crazy. But I'm going to assume you, like everyone else on the internet, pretty much has a username too. Yeah, my real name is not Endymion. The same way I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast's first name is not Mr. What are we even talking about here? And why is this guy's voice trembling constantly?
About a black guy on the screen. That needs to happen more. Why did I get so
That's such a stupid
Let's talk about it. Because, bro, it's obnoxious.
It's like he's afraid to say what he thinks because he's scared people will turn on him or something. Like, dude, if you believe these things that you're saying, then stand on the business as you say and just speak your mind like a man. Why are you talking like this the whole time? You're an adult, not a kid presenting in second grade. I thought this was the apex of pathetic in this, but unfortunately it gets worse. He then brings up Stellar Blade.
For real, let's talk about the last year in gaming. Stellar Blade drama, because there was a titty window added. Oh, they're censoring. They're taking away the gooning. Elden Ring drama.
Why are you talking like this the whole time?
Because, they hit it.
What are you talking, bro? I mean, I'm not gonna fucking sit here and rant on this, but I haven't heard this man stutter. Like, I've heard him maybe like half stutter, like maybe 3 times in every clip that you've showed me. So I mean, like, you just sound mad, bro. He sounds so pissed off because he got told to go work out and touch grass, and now he's like, why did you sound like this? He's so mad. Oh my god, dude.
Apex of pathetic in this, but unfortunately it gets worse. He then brings up Stellar Blade.
For real, let's talk about the last year in gaming. Stellar Blade drama, because there was a titty window added. Oh, they're censoring. They're taking away the gooning. Elden Ring drama. Why are you talking like this the whole time?
He's literally, what are you talking about? He literally didn't do that. He just said Elden Ring drama. He was pretty clear. He's so mad. This is nothing more than Endymion being so fucking pressed and twisted that this man told him to go touch grass. That he's, anyways, I'm gonna let it ride.
Because, they hit it behind a boss. They hit it behind a boss and it's too expensive. I mean, actually, no, I could probably come up with drama for every game we had. I bet. Let me pull up a playlist of the last year.
Again, Cowboy doesn't know what he's talking about. The entire Stellar Blade controversy was because websites attacked the game for having a sexy main character. The other controversy was that the game's outfits for Eve got censored when Shift Up, that's the developers of the game, assured fans that there would be no censorship in the game when it launched, but then when it released, it was obvious that there actually was censorship. How do I know this? Because I actually played Stellar Blade. I platinumed the game. I reported on it. I didn't just get my opinion.
Of course you would fucking platinum a game like this, dude. Anybody who tries to sit here and tell me, and look, Stellar Blade is probably a really, really good game. I'm not arguing whether or not it's a good or it's not a good game. It probably is a really good game. It looks fun. But come on, let's call a spade, bro. It is the Gooners game. Every outfit is so fucking skimpy. It's so fucking slutty, and that is the main attraction to people playing this game, dude. Like, let's just call it for what it is. The same way how you're like, oh man, this motherfucker's got to stand on his business. It's the same thing with you, dude. Come on, you like the titties, and then you got mad that the titties got taken away. Let's keep it a stack. Well, it's not that the fact that titties were taken away. It's the fact that they said there was no censorship in the game, and there's clearly censorship. What did they censor? Some of the clothes. Like, come on, you mad, bro? It's fine. But of course, he'd fucking platinum a game like this, dude. He's a fucking gooner.
Opinion at random from someone else. I went out of my way to ensure that I played the game from start to finish to find these things out for myself. And again, why would the players be mad that Eve was portrayed as sexy and slim and athletic? It wasn't the fans. It was the websites, dude. Here's the Gamer.com complaining about Stellar Blade in their article. That's not enough? Okay, here's IGN France, where they say this about the design of Eve themselves. Eve from Stellar Blade is just bland, a doll sexualized by someone who has never seen a woman. Well, then it turned out that Eve was actually designed by King Huang Tai, that's the guy who owns Shift Up, the development studio for Stellar Blade, and it turns out that his wife, of all people, as you can see here on screen, was actually responsible for Eve's design. Uh-oh. So the design of Eve, a sexy woman, was made by another woman. Again, Fighting Cowboy, he doesn't bring any of this up for you when it comes to context. It's just,
I don't think that completely negates I don't think that negates the point of people saying they made these outfits like this, and they made the women in this game wear skimpy clothing like this because they want to please an audience of men who've never actually seen a real life woman before. I just honestly, I think it just shows that they knew exactly who the audience that they were trying to cater to, and they knew to make a woman that was super attractive, they needed a woman to do it. So I mean, hey bro, but hey man, keep gooning.
Own the chuds by spreading misinformation ourselves and complete disregarding all facts about anything to make it sound like we're winning. This guy is embarrassing himself left and right. It's actually so easy to disprove his claims, it's kind of getting pathetic the longer this video goes on. But he then brings up Stalker 2, saying people didn't like it because it was made in Ukraine.
Stalker 2, people were upset just because the fact that it was a Ukrainian studio, so that got a bunch of...
Which is also not true. The reason why Stalker got any flack at all was because it ran like absolute garbage for pretty much everyone when it first released. And then the devs attempted to claim that it ran badly because of the ongoing war, which I mean, fair enough, but we know that the team who made it fled Ukraine a long time ago and made the game elsewhere. And
hold on, I actually want to look that up, because I thought I've seen Stalker 2 on like on a couple of app stores and shit, like on Steam, and or like, I say app stores, but like a couple of like the online game shops like Steam and PlayStation, and it does look fun. I just haven't gotten around to playing it, but I want to see what was the Stalker 2 controversy about. So shit, okay, so even ChatGPT kind of says what the guy said a little bit. It says, the Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl controversy primarily revolves around two major issues. The decision to integrate non-fungible tokens, NFTs, which I understand. I fuck NFTs. And the game, into the game, and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. So I'm more interested in that. The NFT shit I can understand. Anything with NFTs is fucking stupid. But the second major controversy regarding Stalker 2 came in early 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. GSC Game World, based in Kyiv, Ukraine, was directly impacted by the war. The development of Stalker 2 was temporarily halted as the team focused on their personal safety, with many employees leaving to assist in the war effort to seek refuge in safer locations. Dude, wow, that's crazy. So some of the developers in this game like went to go fight in the Ukrainian war. That's impressive, bro. Holy fuck, that's awesome. Well, it's not awesome, but you know what I mean? Like that's really, really impressive, and that's really cool that they had very cushy, comfy jobs and were like, yeah, but we got to defend the homeland. I can respect that. In response to the invasion, GSC Gamer released statements expressing solidarity with Ukraine and its people. They also announced that they would rename the game's subtitle from Heart of Chernobyl to Heart of Ukraine in support of the country. They also mentioned their intention to continue the game's development when circumstances allowed, which was ultimately delayed due to the ongoing conflict. While the situation was not a controversy in traditional sense, it drew significant attention to the plight of the game's developers and challenges faced by the studio during such a critical time. So didn't he just say, well, it's not the fact that it was Ukraine, it's the fact that the game ran like shit? Well, I think the fact that these people were getting invaded by Russia and a lot of their fucking staff left the team to go defend their country, I feel like that kind of excuses the game running like shit a little bit. You know what I mean? But okay, so we at least understand where the stalker shit was coming from, but all right.
Blaming the state of your commercial product that requires money to be bought on a war is very odd to me. Again, this whole nobody likes it because it's Ukrainian. That makes zero sense.
Wait, what? Wait, go back.
That it was a Ukrainian studio, so that got a bunch of...
Which is also not true. The reason why Stalker got any flack at all was because it ran like absolute garbage for pretty much everyone when it first released. And then the devs attempted to claim that it ran badly because of the ongoing war, which I mean, fair enough, but we know that the team who made it fled Ukraine a long time ago and made the game elsewhere. And blaming the...
that's not true. We just read that. That's not true. They said that the invasion of Ukraine caused a lot of the staff to leave and go defend their country, and that they would develop the game when circumstances allowed it. So probably means that some of them probably did. Some probably went to go help the country and fight in the war, and then some did probably leave, but it was probably a significantly less amount of people that left to go finish the game than there were at the beginning before the whole invasion started. So, I mean, again, like, this is, I kind of give them some slack for this, for having the game run like shit if half of your staff leaves to go and defend your country. So, bro, this is insane.
State of your commercial product that requires money to be bought on a war is very odd to me. Again, this whole nobody likes it because it's Ukrainian. That makes zero sense. You have nothing to back that up. All of the people Cowboy seems to agree with just meat rides the Ukraine war too. So this is just another lie by this guy. But my God, it just keeps going. He then brings up...
I don't know. What does he mean by meat riding the Ukrainian war? Do you mean like showing support and solidarity for the people who are having to defend their... What does he mean I don't understand. What does he mean meat riding? Like, I'm confused.
All things as a gotcha. Dragon Age Veilguard.
Dragon Age people were upset that there was a character who went by they, them in the game, so that got a bunch of...
People didn't hate Veilguard because of Tash. She was one of the many reasons why that game sucked absolute balls. Sure, Tasha's entire story being about her wanting to be non-binary was ridiculously stupid considering there was an apocalyptic event going on outside, and she was a fully grown woman that still didn't know her own gender. Come on, man. But it was also the fact that the game was not really a Dragon Age game. It ruined the lore. It erased basically all of our choices from previous games. It ruined Thetis, that's the name of the whole Dragon Age world, as a setting completely, and gave us subpar forgettable companions, and sidelined Soul...
Wait, hold on, I want to go back, because he did say, well, it's not because it's not because Tosh was a they-them, it's because there's an apocalypse outside, and Tosh is worried about being a they-them. It's kind of that's what it sounds like he pretty much said to me. Let me see.
Lie by this guy, but my God, it just keeps going. He then brings up, of all things as a gotcha, Dragon Age Veilguard.
Dragon Age people were upset that there was a character who went by they, them in the game, so that got a bunch of...
People didn't hate Veilguard because of Tash. She was one of the many reasons why that game sucked absolute balls. Sure, Tasha's entire story being about her wanting to be non-binary was ridiculously stupid considering there was an apocalyptic event going on outside, and she was a...
Okay, so part of the issue of why you say you don't like the game is because of the fact that she was someone who was non-binary. You just blatantly said that right now. Again, like, you can't convince me these types of people don't just see things in black and white. Like, it's so stupid. Like, you just acknowledged that, yes, that was a part of the reason why you just didn't like this game. On top of it also not being a traditional Dragon Age game. Two things can be true at once. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both things. You know what I'm saying?
A fully grown woman that still didn't know her own gender. Come on, man. But it was also the fact that the game was not really a Dragon Age.
And you hear that? You hear that too? Because in the game, I've seen the game, they do acknowledge her, or them, as they, them. And he still goes out of his way to call her... Fuck! Even I'm fucking up, dude. But, like, I'm not used to talking to people like this. But I do try to give my respect where it's at. But, so, anyways, you hear him say... He's still going out of his way to call them a woman. Like, it sounds like he's intentionally doing it. Like, it's... Two things could be true, bro. Yes, I'm sure you're mad because the game doesn't seem like it's a traditional Dragon Age game, but it seems like you're also mad because Tosh was worried about self-identifying as a non-binary person when there's an apocalypse happening outside. So I mean, you are mad at that. Like, come on, it's okay to acknowledge that, dude. The same thing you're telling this guy, man. Come on, Endymion, stand on your shit. Like, come on, dude.
Game. It ruined the lore. It erased basically all of our choices from previous games. It ruined Thetis, that's the name of the whole Dragon Age world, as a setting completely, and gave us subpar forgettable companions, and sidelined Solus in the first 30 minutes of the game for two nothing villains that are the epitome of mustache-twirling bad guys instead. And beyond all of this, the insane amount of trans and non-binary representation, every villain being a white man or woman, which is true by the way. And if you don't believe me, I played the game. I covered that extensively on the channel with examples and everything. If you want to go look, it's all there to see. I am not lying. I bring all the receipts. And the game also ends with some shadowy group called the Executor saying that all the events of Dragon Age are actually their fault, and that none of the villains in any of the previous games had any agency of their own, basically. They were all just working for this Executor new group. Like, come on, dude. This cowboy guy is so out of his depth. Everything that he's brought up so far is completely and unbelievably wrong. But then, as another gotcha, if you can believe it, he brings up Avowed.
Avowed, which came out, people were upset about Avowed because the existence of pronouns was offensive.
Really? People were mad about Avowed's pronouns. That's it. So you're just going to completely ignore the art director, who admitted that he doesn't hire white people and wants people like Elon Musk and Trump to die, and that he hates most of his consumer base. Really, cowboy? Do you know anything about any of the things that you're listing off here? So, cowboy, do you know completely ignore the art director, who admitted that he does...
Avowed art director Matt Hansen wants to remove the too many crusty white dudes in the video game industry. Who the fuck uploaded this article? John F. Trent. All right. So here we go again, because I'm not too into the Avowed shit. It's not really a game that I'm really interested in playing, I'll be honest. But we'll look it up. We'll ask ChatGPT. What is the controversy? I can't type. Controversy surrounding Avowed. And let me fucking type shit right. There we go. The controversy surrounding Avowed, the upcoming RPG from Obsidian, primarily revolves around a few key concerns referring to its development, marketing, and expectations. Here are some of the main points. Concerns over gameplay and similarities to other RPGs, so basically saying that it's pretty basic, cookie-cutter kind of RPG. Development uncertainty and delays, so they don't even know if it's... Well, I mean, I have seen that the game is pretty, like, shit right now. I think... was it Luke Stevens, I think, made a video talking about how he got to play Avowed for a little bit, and he was like, it's got potential, but it's like pretty shit for right now in the beta. And then the visual direction, shifting RPG, disappointment over a lack of information, conclusion. So here, let's just summary real quick. The controversy surrounding Avowed primarily stems from a mix of gameplay style shifts, development uncertainty, visual direction concerns, and competition within the RPG genre. While Avowed is still highly anticipated, the controversy reflects the high expectation fans have for an Obsidian RPG, coupled with a degree of uncertainty due to the game's change in direction and lack of detailed information. How the game will eventually turn out remains to be seen, but these concerns have added to the conversation around its development. So I'm not seeing anything about white people bad in this, dude. Oh, hold on, let me see. When Avowed was first released with the cinematic trailer, there were mixed reactions to the visual direction. Some fans of Obsidian's previous work expected a more stylized or isometric view, but Avowed presented a world in a first-person perspective, potentially influenced by other successful open-world RPGs like The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Some fans expressed concerns that the game might be too similar to Skyrim or other big-budget RPGs rather than delivering a unique experience. The fantasy world presented in the trailer didn't immediately feel as distinctive or innovative as some of the settings in Obsidian's prior works, which led to worries about whether the game could offer something fresh. So this seems like it's just mainly about the actual game and like development times and like people having an idea of what the game would be, and it's actually not what it seems like what it was like advertised to be or whatever. But either way, I'm not seeing anything about white people bad in this game. So I mean, this just sounds like something they're making up, dude. Unless you show me, like, this is what I don't like about him. He doesn't show anything that backs up his statements. All he shows are headlines. And bro, we should all know from how the world has been recently to even before in high school when you were in your fucking civics classes or whatever, that just reading headlines is one of the worst fucking ways to obtain information if that's your goal, because headlines are always made to make things sound so dramatic and so what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, just dramatic. Like most headlines are dramatized as fuck and to entice you to read the rest of the article. Like, he doesn't show anything beyond this screenshot of just saying avowed art director wants to remove the too many white crusty dudes. But let's continue.
Doesn't hire white people and wants people like Elon Musk and Trump to die. And that he hates most of his...
So, I mean, but there's no screenshot of that. Where's the screenshot of that? Because that's a pretty fucked up thing to say. I think most people would agree that that's not a good thing to say. Where's your screenshot of him saying that? You seem to be loaded with these fucking screenshots, dude. Where is it? Like, back up your claim, man. Okay.
Consumer base. Really, Cowboy?
Reminder to black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews or job advice, my DMs are open and you will find and you will always my DMs are open and you will always have my priority. We got too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. I want to go back to living in the woods. All right. So I mean, yeah, this comment does seem a little like virtue signal-y. Like he's trying to like appease like a certain crowd of people, and especially like it seems like he's trying to like, you know, kind of like virtue signal to the extreme left of, look guys, I don't like white people, which is a fucking stupid thing. I'll give you that, but I mean, bro, like, come on, are you gonna be this upset about this shit, dude? All he wants to do is just I don't know, dude. All he wants to do is just help, you know, some artists that probably are a bit like disenfranchised and not able to really get too many of these opportunities to work in these fields an opportunity. And he just made a fucking stupid joke about crusty white guys. Like, I don't know, dude. Anyways.
Do you know anything about any of the things that you're listing off here? Because so far, it seems like you are one of the least equipped people to be speaking on any of these things. But of course, he then brings up shadows again.
And now people are upset about shadows because there's gay stuff and a black guy.
I don't think I need to explain that one again, as I already told you guys how Yasuke's story was completely fabricated and we have all the proof to show it. So
no, and just I'm gonna put that out there. We've saw in this entire video that's just not true. We have more proof than he's shown to the controversy. All he's shown as his proof is a deleted Facebook profile, Wikipedia edits, and a book cover from Thomas Lockley. Like. So no, this motherfucker has no proof either. He's just virtue signaling for his audience, so his audience would get all riled up about this shit. That's all he's doing.
So this is just Cowboy again doubling down on his own inability to know things about the stuff that he claims that he can talk about. He then brings this up about Yasuke.
You can bang Nobunaga's sister. They're gonna look like Walter White and that Breaking Bad meme where they're like, Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about? Normal people don't get upset about this. Okay, this is a manufactured issue in the online space by grifters. Now I'm doing this. I'm trying to present an olive branch because there's a lot of people that are coming into the comments leaving dumb. And I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you're all mentally ill. I think a lot of y'all have been lied to.
Yeah, Cowboy, it's not a good look that Yasuke's canon love interest is a woman dubbed the mother of Japan in real life, who also died with her husband because she was so loyal to him that when his castle was being sieged in real life, she sent her daughters away and died with her husband. So you tell me, why would a woman that literal emperors from Japan descended from and was a devoted wife and mother to multiple children even have the time or ability to meet with someone like Yasuke, who wasn't in Japan at the time, by the way, to do things without someone in her kingdom even seeing her? Do you realize that?
You know why? Because a black dude banging your sister is cool. I'm just kidding. I know. But hey, dude, I mean, that's the argument, right? It's cool. Why not? But everybody wants to be a black guy, dude. Black people are able to bang anybody's sister, dude. Is that not cool to you? Why do you think I like being fucking CJ and fucking Grand Theft Auto, bro? That's why San Andreas is my favorite, dude. Being a black guy is cool. Oh, dude, this is funny, dude. It's so stupid, bro. It's so stupid. This he's just making shit up to be mad about, bro. Like you don't have to bang anybody in this game. Like, bro, you don't like. Why are we complaining about fucking relationship shit that you could do in this game? If you don't like the options you get for the relationship part of this game, just don't fucking do them. They're all optional. Who cares? It's a video game. Like, bro. Anyways.
The people in Japan, these sorts of individuals who were like, pretty much, how will we put it? Royalty, I guess? We're constantly being followed by servants and such. There's no way this would have happened. This is like fan fiction at this point. Come on, Cowboy. Give us something. Anything. Just be right at least once in this entire rant. He then tries to say that the entire Shadows thing is manufactured.
This is a manufactured issue in the online space by grifters. I think a lot of people that are getting riled up by these grifters, I think you're just looking for someone to reach out to, and you don't know that you're having smoke blown up your ass by people that profit off your outrage. And so I'm doing this video to try and give y'all a hand. Cowboy, they made the games woke. No, they didn't. Cowboy, they made the games woke. No, they didn't.
You can have hot gay samurai flings in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, again, guess what you don't have to do? Have hot gay samurai flings. Bro, like, you don't have to do this shit. You don't have to do this shit in this game.
The game's depiction of Japan was so bad that it was brought before the national diet in Japan's highest level of government. Are you kidding us?
We would like to ask you about the game Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has been the top. Bro, if this is what they're fucking worried about over there in Japan is a fucking video game, I don't know. Bro, this is ridiculous, dude. That is a fucking video game, dog. Like, bro, oh my god, bro. These people, if they had a whole convention to talk about this game, I'm sorry. The Japanese government is so fucking pussy. Like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, this is the stupidest thing to have a full convention about, dude. Fuck. That's like the fucking senator of California having a convention or some shit to talk about the inaccuracies of GTA 5 and how it misrepresents Los Angeles. Like, yeah, it's a fucking video game. Shut up. Like, it's so stupid.
Frankly, never seen someone be so ill-equipped to speak on things than right now. I originally thought this Cowboy guy was just a gaming YouTuber, and now it's
This is about the Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game software produced by the French company Ubisoft, which is really
so obvious that he's just an NPC that follows whatever mainstream media tells him to believe. This guy is vaccinated against COVID, isn't he? I would bet money he is. This guy will believe anything these people tell him. Good lord, dude. He then brings up things like games always having gender options, and it's not actually a secret agenda. I'm not kidding. Listen to this.
We had that all the way back in the day. You had gay relationships in Mass Effect. You could choose your gender in RPGs as long as games have been around, bro.
How many genders, Fighting Cowboy? Come on, don't be shy. How many genders were there in previous games? Male and female, right? Wasn't male, female, they, them, non-binary, z, zer, g, shump, shinga, binga, bing, bong. No, it was he and she, and you know it, but let's keep going.
So stupid.
This isn't new. It's not
why are you so mad about this, dude? This is the dumbest shit I've heard in my life. Why are you so mad that there's more than two genders? What, like, I don't understand. Like, none of these people can ever articulate properly what is the rage behind there being multiple genders other than, or more than two genders. Like, there's nothing other than we just don't like it. Like, there's no logical reason to be upset about this. This to me is an example of manufactured rage for no fucking reason. Like, the whole rage behind there being more than two genders, it's so stupid, bro.
Secret agenda that people are pushing out there.
So we're just going to conveniently just step around the whole USAID thing and how the government went in after Trump was elected, and then discovered that many of the program's agendas and all the trans stuff was being directly funded by US taxpayer.
What the fuck are you talking about? Are we gonna really get into politics now, dude? Are you fucking serious? Hold on. Here are only a few examples of waste and abuse. Oh my god, this is the DEI bullshit, dude. Oh my god. No. Oh, he's so brainwashed. He's so brainwashed. I don't understand. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala? That's not true. That is not true. You know how we looked that up? Let me see. Oh my god. Okay, here. So let's look at transgender. 47 grand for a transgender opera in Colombia. Who is this? Are you saying the U.S. did this? Here, we'll do the $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. What do you say? USAID fund sex changes? I can't believe I'm asking this. In Guatemala. For who though? Like, that's why I'm confused too. Guatemala. How do you spell Guatemala? Guatemala. Oh my god. Let me see. So okay, so here, let's see. Let me see. Yes, there's been controversy surrounding U.S. aid for funding programs related to gender identity in various countries, including Guatemala. The controversy specifically stemmed from a report in 2022 that revealed U.S. aid funding was used in Guatemala for programs involving gender-affirming medical care for transgender individuals, which included gender-affirming surgeries. This program was a part of a broader initiative aimed at promoting LGBTQ+ rights and healthcare access. The intention behind these efforts was to support the transgender community by improving access to medical services and rights, particularly in regions where such services are often limited or inaccessible. The controversy began after Republican lawmakers and some conservative groups in the U.S. raised concerns that U.S. taxpayer funds were being used to support gender transition surgeries in foreign countries, including Guatemala. Critics argued that this was an inappropriate use of federal resources and was an issue of concern in terms of cultural values and foreign aid priorities. On the other hand, proponents of the program argued that it was a part of the U.S. government's broader efforts to support human rights and healthcare access for marginalized groups worldwide. They contended that it was important to ensure transgender people, particularly in countries with limited medical resources for the LGBTQ+ community, had access to the care they needed. So it just seems like USAID was, doing what USAID should be doing, which is funding humanitarian rights for people. Or at least we're trying to support human rights, and we're trying to broaden healthcare for transgender people, in countries and stuff that they don't get access to have some of these procedures and some of these healthcare done to them. So I mean, sounds like USAID was just kind of doing their mission. You know what I'm saying? But of course, it doesn't matter to these people, because to these people, transgender people don't exist, and they're not real, and they're not people. So, anyways,
money without them knowing it, and that the moment that Trump pulls said funding, all of these movements and initiatives suddenly fall apart because they weren't actually making any money, and they could only exist.
$6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. These are all fucking stupid, bro. Who fucking cares?
As long as they could leech off the American taxpayer, not a hidden agenda. Dude, this guy is so out of his depth here. I feel like that I'm in a fist fight with a 3-year-old, and this just isn't fair at this point. He then brings up representation.
And we're seeing more inclusivity. We're seeing more diversity. I'm a big straight white dude. Looking at this chat, I would guess probably a fraction of the people in this chat are big straight white dudes. All right? I had to say this before, but the world isn't big straight white dudes. There's more than that. And we're seeing representation for those people so that they can see some in media and be like, yo, that's cool. I relate to this character.
Yeah, people were so against representation in video games like Assassin's Creed. You're totally right, Cowboy. But nobody tell this guy that the first game starred a Middle Eastern dude named Altair. He's Syrian, by the way, and literally nobody complained about that. Also, nobody complained about Adewale getting his own DLC on Black Flag. Nobody complained about Bayek or Aya being playable in Origins, which was set in Egypt. And Bayek literally, what's that? Oh, he had dark skin, just like Yasuke. Imagine that. Where was the outrage there, Cowboy? Oh, right, there wasn't any. Could it be that these games, as long as they star people native to where they actually take place, that nobody minds?
Yeah, Bayek's not a real person, and neither is Altair, and neither is Ezio, and neither is Aya. These are not real people. These are not real people. These fucking don't exist. These people don't exist. They're using Yasuke as somebody who's actually said to be a part of Japanese history to represent their video game. Sure, could they have chosen anybody else? Sure. But they chose Yasuke, the guy who is probably considering how your outrage is considering that your outrage is because in your mind you think that Ubisoft is trying to rewrite Japanese history by using Yasuke as a samurai. I can only imagine if they used a real Japanese guy and started doing all the stupid shit that they're doing in this, or not stupid shit, but doing all the shit that they're doing in this game with Yasuke, but replacing him with the actual Japanese samurai guy. I can only imagine how mad you guys would be about them rewriting history with a Japanese guy. Oh wait, you probably wouldn't care because at least it would be a Japanese guy doing it and not a black guy, right? Like, that's all this anger is about, bro.
Even Mirage, that just came out before Shadows, and it starred a Muslim assassin in Baghdad, for God's sakes. Was there any outrage about that?
Yeah, and he's not real. He's not real. Yasuke's real. All of these characters that you're fucking bitching and fucking... not even bitching about. All these characters that you're fucking... that you're fucking deep-throating are not fucking real, dude.
Oh, right, there wasn't. It seems, and I could be crazy, but it seems that this is the one and only time people don't like this Yasuke implementation because it's so forced here it's obvious. Like, while I'm sure some people did complain, the majority of the fan base also loved Aveline and Liberation too. I really like that game. And Assassin's Creed 3 has you playing as a Native American. Where was the outrage, cowboy? Like, this guy just focuses on Yasuke, and then conveniently forgets everything else because it doesn't support his stance. This guy is the most I get my news from IGN dude to ever exist.
Yeah, and that's funny because I could say the same thing about you and Endymion. Like, this whole video, you've been mad about in your mind them rewriting Japanese history, and yet when they rewrite history in Assassin's Creed 2 in Italy with Leonardo da Vinci and Ezio and the Templars, your response to that criticism is, well, it's cool though. Like, dude, this, like, bro, you have no leg to stand on and call this guy out for fucking for fucking defending Yasuke, dude. Like, you just have no room.
If IGN told Cowboy that Yasuke was the grandfather of Alexander the Great, this Cowboy guy would believe it at face value, despite it both making zero sense both DNA and time-wise. Just incredible, dude. How someone can be so ill-equipped to tackle such issues is amazing.
Yeah, nigga, you also think Leonardo da Vinci actually worked with the fucking Templar Order, and the Templar Order invaded the fucking Catholic Church. That didn't happen. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And brings up that the media is not against white Christian males. And we're all apparently living...
Why do you laugh like a fucking chipmunk, dude? Did you hear that laugh? Oh, God, he laughs like he has asthma.
Not against white Christian males. And we're all...
What the fuck kind of laugh is that?
all apparently living in small towns.
Now we're upset that everything isn't straight white Christian male. Like, it doesn't make sense, dude. It doesn't make sense. Like, what is so fucking upsetting about the fact that there's other kind of people besides you out there? And if that is upsetting, like, dude, you need to expand your worldview.
Notice how his voice trembling when he talks too. Come on, dude, you're a grown man. Stand on business like you said in the beginning. Why aren't you doing that? And media is not against white Christians. Has this guy looked at Europe recently? Dude, you get thrown in jail for questioning anything in places like England and more when it comes to migration, and how those places are siphoning their own people's money to make way.
What? Did you just say you go to jail for questioning their hold on.
You get thrown in jail for questioning anything in places like England and more when it comes to migration, and how those places are siphoning their own people's money to make way for a new for questioning anything in places like England. Notice how his voice trembling when he talks too. Come on, dude, you're a grown man. Stand on business like you said in the beginning. Why aren't you doing that? And media is not against white Christians. Has this guy looked at Europe recently? Dude, you get thrown in jail for questioning anything in places like England and more when it comes to migration.
Okay, we're gonna do what he won't do and look this up. I fucking hate that I'm asking ChatGPT so many dumb questions today. Do you get thrown in jail? Fucking Christ, dude, I can't believe I'm actually asking this fucking question. Do you get thrown in jail in Europe for questioning migration policies? Because I have a response to you. In most European countries, questioning or criticizing migration policies does not automatically lead to imprisonment, as freedom of speech is a fundamental right in many European nations. Wow, so we're just fucking strawmanning and gaslighting our audience, right? But you know what place is right now kind of putting you in jail for questioning the activities of the government? The United States. I mean, bro, they just took a Muslim woman off the fucking streets who didn't commit a crime in broad daylight with a group of like 5, 6, 7, 8 people dressed in all black, and their claim or their reasoning for arresting her was because she fucking participated in a Palestinian protest to protest against the fucking genocide happening in Palestine from Israel. And their response is, it wasn't just she was promoting Palestine, she was promoting Hamas. So the only country that's actually arresting people for freedom of speech at the moment is the United States. So, and that's under the administration that I'm sure he probably voted for. So that's all I've got to say about that one. But let's just keep going.
And how those places are siphoning their own people's money to make way for a new wave of religions to overtake Europe. You can't be serious. Places like Germany.
Dog, I'm not even going to fucking look this up.
They claim that migrants are just as German as native-born Germans, but as soon as they start thinking about World War III, oh, imagine that. The propaganda starts up, and immediately and conveniently, the German government suddenly remembers what an actual German man looks like all of a sudden. Fancy that, cowboy. Oh, I wonder why.
God.
Or how that adolescence Netflix show, which adapted real-life current knife attacks in England, but then conveniently race-swapped the actual killer to a small white boy. Here's the actual person that it's based on, and they look nothing alike. I think you're trying to make...
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Killer who stabbed schoolgirl Elani Adam in white hot anger in row over teddy bear, jailed for 23 years. What are we talking about? The fuck is he talking about?
Looks like all of a sudden. Fancy that, cowboy. Oh, I wonder why. Or how that adolescent putting their own people's money to make way for a new wave of trembling when he talks too. Aren't you doing that? And media is not against white Christians. Has this guy looked at Europe recently? Dude, you get thrown in jail for questioning anything in places like England and more when it comes to migration. And how those places are siphoning their own people's money to make way for a new wave of religions to overtake Europe. You can't be serious. Places like Germany that claim that migrants are just as German as native-born Germans, but as soon as they start thinking about World War III, oh, imagine that. The propaganda starts up, and immediately and conveniently, the German government suddenly remembers what an actual German man looks.
The fuck are you talking about? Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? What I don't understand what any of this does about one. I don't know what any of this does about Assassin's or does to prove your point about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And two, what the I don't know how to respond to this. What the fuck are we even talking about?
Looks like all of a sudden. Fancy that, cowboy. Oh, I wonder why. Or how that adolescence Netflix show, which adapted real-life current knife attacks in England, but then conveniently race-swapped the actual killer to a small white boy. Here's the actual person that it's based on, and they look nothing alike. I think you're...
The fuck are we talking about? Killer who stabbed schoolgirl in white hot anger in row over teddy bear, jailed for 23 years. Hassan Sentamu, 18, murdered aspiring human rights lawyer Ilan Anna, 15, as she stood up for a friend. What does this have to do with anything? What is this for? I don't even know if this is supposed to I don't know if this show is supposed to reference this event happening. This is just two screenshots. All this, a child accused, everyone left to answer. I don't even think this is referencing this shit. What? Because a child accused, everyone left to answer. What is it? These are just two screenshots. There's nothing that even ties these things together. What the fuck are we talking about?
They're trying to make propaganda claiming that the biggest fear to native English people are small white boys. Are you kidding me, dude? And they went as far as to try to say that this little white boy wasn't an extreme. That he was an extremist due to right-wing culture. Oh my god, dude, I just can't. Look, I can keep going with Cowboy's rant, but I think at this point it's become evidently clear that this man has absolutely zero concept of what he's talking about, even at the best of times here. Look, I won't deny this guy that he maybe knows about his games, okay? He's into Soulsborns, good for him, but it's obvious to me, and likely even to you now, that this guy just needs to stick to playing his Souls-likes, man, and that's pretty much it. And when he claims that others are grifters, but then either conveniently ignores the actual grifters who've rotted out studios and franchises we love like Batman Arkham or Dragon Age for ESG money, it's very clear to me anyway that Cowboy here is completely and utterly out of his mind when it comes to speaking on the actual culture within video games. He obviously just wants to keep his channel simple and review games, which is fair enough, more power to him if that's what he wants to do. And hey, I think he should keep doing that, despite this guy likely hating me, even though he and I have never spoken or interacted once ever. I don't hate this guy, but I mean, come on, man. Yeah, he is misinformed. I do think he's clearly agenda-driven, and it's very obvious that he is jumping through hoops to ensure that he can retain the access he desperately needs to keep his channel relevant so he can review games before they come out for reviews. And look, I understand wanting to keep a good relationship with whichever company. By the way, he got Shadows early because, again, of course he did, because he didn't question Ubisoft even once. But like I said, it's so obvious that this guy lives with blinders on when it comes to not just video games, but life in general. I mean, clearly, Europe doesn't hate white Christians. If you can objectively look at the state of the world as a white man yourself and not see that every institution, government, and propaganda around you hates you, you're the exact kind of white male these sorts of places want. The kind that just lays on his back and lets them have their way with you. It's honestly pathetic to see so many guys.
What the fuck are you talking about? Who is hating on what corporation, what major fucking government or major corporation is out here saying we refuse to work with white people, we refuse to acknowledge the existence of white people, or we hate white people? Where is this coming from? Where? You've shown me screenshots that don't correlate to any of these claims. This doesn't. I don't know.
like this that will literally just bend over backwards so much to ensure they can still get their access and whatever else. And it's obvious to me that this is Cowboy's case. His access to free media is more important to him than the integrity of the video game industry as a whole and everyone outside of it. This guy will literally ignore the burning house beside him as long as someone gives him a free game to distract him. I also find that the way he talks and how he conveys his emotions and points to be, and I don't want to sound mean, but is this guy, is he special needs? I don't mean this in like a mean way, but like, you're a grown man, clearly. Yet the way you convey things is just, is he special?
This is crazy, bro. This is it. At this point, he's just mad. At this point, Endymion is just actually in a very angry, emotional state where he's just trying to hit this fucking pirate dude with as many hurtful things as possible, he's basically calling him a self-hating white man, for one, and then two, he's calling him someone with special needs. I'm pretty sure if he could say the R word, he would fucking say it if it didn't get him in trouble. So I mean, like, bro, this I don't know what any of this shit has to do with about shadows or anything. This is stupid. This is just fucking stupid. This is just a fucking immature fucking back and forth with this fucking guy who is honestly, he is kind of he's not really bringing up like solid points or like solid shit like that, like too much. But I mean, the points he's bringing up are like pretty valid. All he's really said is these people manufacture things to be mad about, and it completely set Endymion off. And he's sat here and made a 30-minute video ranting about bullshit. Like, this is insanity. And I also hate too that anybody who has these kinds of opinions, like myself, I hate that the excuse that comes from people like this is, well, you only have that opinion because you want to get free video games, dude. I hate that that's the response, because it just I have hair in my mouth. Blech. Because it just refuses, because making a statement like that to me, it completely like negates any sort of like responsibility from the person making the claim to actually have to argue and defend and talk about the points that are being made from the opposition, because you're just minimizing it to just where you only have these opinions because you just want free video games. No, I have these opinions because it's real. Like, I could say the same shit about you, bro. Like, you only have these heavy right-wing opinions because it brings you lots of views, and it's a very lucrative business to have. I mean, look, 3 days ago you had 144,000 views. That's almost as many views as your fucking you're almost half, like, it's almost 50% of your overall subscriber base. Like, dude, it's clearly, having these opinions clearly brings you a lot of views versus not having these kinds of opinions in the gaming sphere. So I can say you are only having these opinions because it brings you money. But we can't do that. We can't have these conversations by doing that, because there's no point. There's no objective to it other than to just belittle the next man, and it's stupid. Like, actually talk about his points. Like, seriously.
Special needs? Because if he is, then this all makes sense. But if he isn't, then it's just him being oblivious to the world around him because it suits his agenda and lifestyle. Look, everyone who thinks Shadows is propaganda does not live in a small town. I don't live in a small town. I don't spend all day inside. I go to the gym just like you do. I have a girlfriend and all that too, if that even matters to this argument, even though if I didn't have a girlfriend or went to the gym, what would that have to do with Shadows? But I guess this guy seems to evaluate other men's worth the same way an OnlyFans girl or e-girl does too, where they only seem to rank someone's importance on if they're sexually active or something. Again, really weird. I'm good, guys. I have a girlfriend and all that, but if you ask me, I don't think me having a girlfriend somehow validates or invalidates my opinion on a video game. Like, what are we doing? Because these two things have nothing in common when it comes to my opinion on a commercial product. But as you can see, this Cowboy guy is, I hate to say, he's kind of a moron, I have to say. He clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. He walks around every single game he mentions without knowing literally anything about any of the controversies surrounding those games. He's just someone that is reliant on free access to games to make his living, and he knows that if he questions any of the companies that pushes his propaganda in some way, that he'll be revoked that access he desperately needs to validate himself as a YouTuber. I couldn't care less what any company thinks of me. I think that's very obvious to everyone. I will always say what I think, and even if Ubisoft hates me, they can't sue me for critically speaking about their game that I bought with my own money so that I could review it and comb through it to my heart's content. If you believe Cowboy's opinions here, you'd think the world is just full of Care Bears and gaming is totally fine, when in reality it's anything but that. And I find it actually harmful that people like this have for so long been in this space and haven't once thought it was their responsibility to speak up for the players. But clearly, when you take people like Cowboy or Mighty Keith or Actman, all content creators who kind of existed more or less for the same amount of time-ish, these were all the same kinds of content creators who never really spoke up for players. They were perfectly content to allow your video games to simply become leftist propaganda machines that spat on you and the franchises that you loved and would call you bigots or worse if you stepped out of line and questioned them. Let me repeat that. These people were totally fine with letting your games die. And games didn't really start to heal until, and I don't want to toot my horn here too much, but let's be honest, until people like me finally took a stand and actually started started to call these things out. I wasn't the first to do it. I know that. People like Yellow Flash or, Asmongold preceded me. But the point stands that it's because of us that your games and the industry and your movies and your TV and your MCU and whatever else is changing. That's the Critical Drinker. That's Nerdrotic. That's Geeks and Gamers. Yada, yada, yada. That's all of us. We're all doing that. And they're not changing these things into what you want because they want to do that. They're changing it to what you want it to be because we're forcing them to through movements, closing our wallets, and voicing our opinions, which you should do. And if anyone thinks it's bad for customers to voice their concerns about a product, regardless if it's a movie, game, or anything else, those people are a part of the problem. And we are all stupider now, having now sat here listening to Fighting Cowboy speak his mind on video games. I can only hope that he educates himself, keeps his head down, and shuts up when it comes to the culture and issues in video games going forward. Because if this guy wasn't willing to speak up for you when he first started his channel, there's no way in hell he's willing to do it even now. Because if it was up to Cowboy, all your games would be full of trans people and black samurais and they-them main characters. And he, alongside many others, would get on their knees and eat the gray slop and suck the schlong of the industry as long as they got patted on the head when they were done, and then they would get called good boys and girls and they-themers and then sent a code for the next video game for them to consume. Oh joy. May God have mercy on this man's soul. May he never speak on these things that he clearly knows nothing about. And if this is the best that his side can do when it comes to disavowing the culture of entertainment changing, we have nothing to worry about. Because they can't stop us, we're winning, thank you for watching, subscribe, and someone get Fighting Cowboy his baby bottle, that man is teething.
Yeah, you see, he's just so emotional. He's so angry that he because he brought it up again too. He's so bad that that nigga told him, go to the gym and go touch grass. He's so bad. He brought it up again, bro. It's just, look, bro, like, yeah, sure, I guess you can sit here and say that you only have this opinion because it's what brings you video games. But then you bring up Actman, you bring up all these fucking YouTubers, and I do watch these YouTubers too. None of them advocate for stupid fucking games. That if the game is bad, they're gonna say the game is bad. Like, I'm pretty sure Actman has a whole video talking about how Dragon Age the Veilguard is not a good game. And you would think if he's supposed to be the guy that you say he is, where he's just gonna shill for the companies to get a free code for the next video game, he would have sat there and said how great Veilguard was, but he didn't. He sat there and said it's not a very good game. Like, here, well, we'll use Actman. Let me go to his channel. The Actman. Let me see.
You ever hear someone say all art is?
I love Actman too. He's pretty funny. So see, his most recent video, he talked about politics. Let's see. Elon Musk is a fake gamer. Path of Exile is what Diablo 4 should have been. Marvel Rivals is awesome. Let me see. How to destroy a franchise. Dragon Age the Veilguard. He is literally like, what are we talking about? The death of the midnight release. Nintendo is getting worse. Why Space Marine is awesome. Why Concord failed. Like, the biggest failure in gaming. You would think he'd be sitting here like the rest of the fucking news media, the gaming news media, who were sitting there like IGN fucking glazing Concord, saying that it was the next best thing. You would think he'd be just like them. No, he's made a video that's 30 minutes long talking about why it's like a big failure in gaming. Like, it's just, I don't know. These conversations are so stupid. If you ask me, bro, I'm gonna keep it a stack. The outrage for fucking Shadows is so stupid. There's no reason for it. It's so dumb. People just want some shit to be fucking mad about. The motherfucker, for as much as he was mad about the game, still went out of his way to buy it and play it. And I know you can sit here and say, well, that's his job. He's supposed to, so he can really see what the game's about. His major issue is the fact that it's rewriting history because there's a black man as a samurai in the video game, and you knew that before you bought the game. So if I had that opinion, if I firmly believed this game sucks and this game is going to be bad because in my eyes they're going to rewrite history by putting a black man as a samurai, I'm not buying the game. I'm sorry. Like, I like that's how I would be. And I don't know. It just seems stupid. It just seems like he knows that this whole controversy was a very lucrative controversy to be in, and talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows in a negative way, calling out Yasuke being a samurai in there when there's multiple historical pieces of historical evidence that shows and imply that he was indeed a samurai and he was involved in battles. Like, it just brings in the views, man. It just brings in fucking bread, dude. And like, it's just stupid. But anyways, this video is long as fuck. It's almost 2 hours long. I am so sorry. So this is gonna probably be one of my longest videos, dude. God damn it. But yeah, man, that's been me, Little Mac. If you like this kind of content, go ahead, leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. I will put Endymion's video in the description below so y'all can check it out. And I'll see y'all later, man. Peace out.